Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball theorists. There have been thoughts by many of us in the Dragon Ball community with the idea and theory that we could have another bait and switch plot where Moro isn't the main villain. Perhaps the best example of this happening before would be the androids and how the Z fighters prepared for their attack thanks to Future Trunks warning them, only to be part of an even bigger scheme by Cell. Someone hidden and waiting for the perfect opportunity to put in place his plan and absorb the androids, giving us perfect Cell and the biggest threat Earth has faced at that time. For me, this was the height of Dragon Ball Z, where it was unpredictable with amazing story writing giving us a diversity of antagonists, one right after another. We were shocked by the power of the androids and how the Z fighters stood no chance, only to be surprised by a far more terrifying threat. Since Dragon Ball Super anime has ended, Toriyama has been continuing the storyline writing the manga himself, where in the anime it had many moving parts, rushed production, guest writers on each episode, and characters he didn't even create, but were Toei's idea to try and give the fans what they thought was right. Some people criticized the writing genius of Toriyama without realizing that what they didn't like as a fan wasn't even his idea or even an episode he wrote. So now with the anime ended and Toriyama writing the Galactic Patrol arc in the manga, I believe we will finally get back into some classic and more involved storylines that is consistent and awesome like we saw back in the day of Dragon Ball Z. So if you have been reading the manga, you are well aware of the greatest threat Goku and Vegeta have ever faced in Moro. Even if you haven't been reading, as a fan, I am sure you have seen countless videos or news on who this guy is and his terrifying magic. I love this idea of an ancient threat over 10 million years old who has regained his magic has emerged. We finally could have an arc that goes into more backstory on the angels, gods, and demons, since Moro was an enemy of the universe before he had his magic sealed away by the Grand Supreme Kai. However, is Moro the real villain? Sure, he is a difficult opponent with his magic since he can take the energy from a planet and who he is fighting, something that has even taken Goku and Vegeta by surprise. I just believe this is a distraction though, so someone else can freely move around and set in motion their own evil plan while the two most powerful fighters the universe has is busy fighting Moro. The Kai's, Galactic Patrol, and the best Universe 7 has to offer are focused on Moro. Even better yet, Moro has weakened the two strongest fighters with his magic. This is the perfect time for the perfect villain to be introduced, but the question of who and from where. There has already been clues and some foreshadowing of some strange abilities and actions of Meerus. I'm not saying he is the villain, but he definitely seems to be working with them. Let's look at everything Meerus has done up to date that is more than suspicious. Meerus was able to get the drop on both Goku and Vegeta, stunning them with his gun, which had us all baffled and we thought it was a joke. He then took Goku and Vegeta with him, knowing that he could keep an eye on both of them. His abilities aren't a joke though. When Meerus was called into action against the robbers, Vegeta went to try and figure out his powers and how he took them by surprise the first time. However, both of them lost track of Meerus again. And what is even more impressive is Meerus sabotaged the pirate ship before Goku even stepped in without being able to be seen, leaving Vegeta irritated on how this is even possible, as he wouldn't have had the time or been able to be that fast. Of course, Meerus says he isn't hiding anything, and there is an old saying, keep your friends close and enemies closer. Bringing Goku and Vegeta onto his ship, Meerus knew they would step in against Moro. You can't say that Meerus is just a mere Galactic Patrol fighter. Someone in his position would be able to set in motion everything that has happened. Moro gaining his magic back at the Galactic Patrol prison and escaping, having the means of moving around the universe freely, apprehending anyone to suit his plan. Just the real question is, what does he want with Buu, and who is pulling Meerus' strings? This arc could really go off in a lot of different directions, and the reason why they gave us all these clues early on with Meerus having special powers. Maybe getting the Grand Supreme Kai out of Buu is part of something bigger. Maybe unleashing Moro as a distraction will let the real villain plan his perfect time to strike, and hopefully we finally get the demon arc we have all been waiting for. Perhaps a villain that is an ancient enemy of the angels and gods who is now ready to strike and upset their entire hierarchy. Now tell me what you think. Is Moro the main villain? Is Meerus working with someone and is part of this evil plan? I always love to hear your theories in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and please subscribe to support the channel and turn on that notification bell to keep those theories coming.